There you go. Like FM. Good morning, Metro Manila. My name is Devon. I'm flying solo this morning. I'm keeping you company all the way until 9 in the morning on your Sunday morning drive. Later on, from 9 to 12, stay tuned for my partner D. And after that, we'll have Addie with Fashion Sense. It's a gorgeous Sunday. Things are pretty foggy outside. Whatever you might be doing right now, whether you're eating breakfast with your family or maybe you're driving over to somewhere far to have breakfast with your family, I hope you guys are enjoying, and thank you for tuning in. So we got a few things to talk about on the show, mostly related to, house hunting. I went house hunting yesterday. It was pretty interesting. And it got me to thinking about the difference between renting and owning a piece of property, whether it's a house or a condominium. And there are pros and cons to both. But the thing is, it's very important that you stay aware and you look into things and really think about things before you choose, because it's a pretty big responsibility. Now, there is a difference between renting and owning a piece of property, and it will really depend on you, whatever it is that your lifestyle suggests, I suppose. So there are some differences, such as ownership and rental costs, really. If you're the sort of person who is not looking to get tied down, if you have commitment issues, and if you find yourself moving around a lot, depending on what your job is, perhaps renting would be a better option. But if you're ready to set down roots, maybe it's time to look for a nice, solid place to live in. A few things you might want to consider. Location. Location is really important. The closer you are to different, city conveniences like your groceries, hospitals, schools, the better. Generally, that's the way it works, right? Aside from that, you might also want to consider modes of transportation, especially if you plan on settling down there. You might want to consider how far it is from where you live, how far it is from where you work, how much travel time you're gonna spend on, as well as gas, because gas can be pretty expensive these days. Again, location is very important. So in terms of location, mobility is also a huge factor. Your ability to go from point A to point B from wherever it is that you live, that's something that you should look out for. All right, let's get back to some more ads. And more ads after this, really, because it's 6:16. And that time check was brought to you by Patron. Patron knows you deserve only the best. Like FM. This is Devon, keeping you company all the way until 9 in the morning. Again, good morning, Metro Manila. It is a gorgeous Sunday outside. It's nice and chilly, nice and quiet. Most people are probably either on their way home from the night before or maybe still asleep. If you're still asleep, good for you. It is a Sunday after all. Sunday is a day of rest. In case you're up, though, thank you for tuning in. Again, my name is Devon. I'm keeping you company all the way until 9. And this morning we're talking about house hunting and the difference between renting and owning and what you should consider. It's interesting how you see a lot of these ads for different kinds of properties, whether it's a condo or maybe it's a house or a house and lot package, or maybe just an ad for things that are for rent. But here are a few things that nobody teaches you about buying, renting, or, that sort of thing when you're here in the Philippines. So, for one thing, People think that there are limited options, especially if you have a limited budget. But the truth is, there will always be a lot of properties to choose from. Earlier on, before the break, I mentioned that I had gone house hunting just yesterday, and you'd be surprised at how many places I was able to check out. If you schedule them correctly, you can actually make full use of your afternoon or your morning, depending on, what time of day you get up. But you can actually make full use of your day by scheduling different appointments within the same area consecutively. I started off around one particular area, and then we kind of just went down the road from there. So there's always a lot, but it's your responsibility to make sure that you're within budget, because sometimes it's not just rent, sometimes it's not just your monthly payment. You also have to pay for utilities. You have to consider transportation. If you have a car, you have to take into consideration gas, toll if you're from the south or from the north. But yeah, those are a few things that you should consider when you're looking at properties, and there are a lot, believe me. Next, you will be confused. Okay? People in real estate have a different language, and sometimes they forget to let their clients in on that particular language. So don't be confused by the jargon, and of course, don't be afraid to ask. It's always a good idea to ask. So from things like amortization, what is that? Or your monthly payment, what is that? What is a tripping? What is that? These things, there's no harm in asking. And just so everything is clear, it's always a good idea to talk to the person that you're dealing with, whether it's an agent or a broker, or maybe it's just your friend, trying to make money off of their property. But just the same, make sure that everything is clear and that you ask if there's something you don't understand. And if the person you're dealing with doesn't want to explain it to you and or is having a hard time explaining it to you, you might want to make sure, do your research, or if not, you might want to ask if you could talk to someone a little bit older or maybe a little more experienced. Next, this one. Those ads that you see all over the place, especially now in Metro Manila, there are so many developments going up. But how sometimes you see ads that say, own a condominium for as low as 7,000 pesos per month, or own a condo for as low as 15,000 pesos per month. That's not actually, there is some truth to it, but the thing is, it's not always just 7,000, 10,000, 15,000. That's just one part of how much you're actually going to have to shell out. Investments in terms of property, they're pretty much a long-term commitment. So the thing is, the way it works is you pay for a down payment for a certain number of years. And depending on how much the property is, it could be as low as 5% maybe if the property is ready for occupancy, except you have to pay for 5% right away. Sometimes it's something like 10%, 20% spread throughout the duration of construction or something like that. And then there's always the balance that's left over. And you have to be either you have to be liquid, you have to be, have cash for it, or you have to take out a loan from a lending institution or some sort of bank or something like that in order to settle the balance. And a lot of the time the balance is pretty hefty. More often than not, especially when you're trying to buy property in Metro Manila, it can be quite expensive. And sometimes the balance that's left over after you've paid off your down payment can be in the millions. And so if you're not particularly secure yet, or you haven't prepared yet, at the very least, make sure that when you decide to invest in a piece of property, you have at least 3 months worth of however much your down payment or your monthly amortization is going to be, so that by the fourth month, you're pretty much steady and you won't have to worry so much about money. So we'll talk about more about the things that people don't really tell you when you're trying to buy a home in the Philippines, or when you're trying to rent things out in the Philippines if you're renting. But in the meantime, it is now 6:33. My name is Devon. I'm keeping you company all the way until 9. This is not the D&D Show, but do tune in every Monday to Friday from 8 p.m. to midnight on the D&D Show with D and Devon. Tomorrow is going to be Monday off. And Monday off really is a celebration of the end of the worst day of the week, which is Monday. So tune into that. And my partner D is actually going to board immediately after me from 9 to 12 today. So please make sure that you tune in. My name is Devon. I'm keeping you company all the way until 9. This is Like FM and whatnot. I haven't asked my partner what she'll be talking about this morning. But I have started talking about real estate for today just because I went on a house hunt yesterday. So, on a better and more organized note as compared to the first hour, when you're looking for a new place, choose an ideal location. The closer you are to where you live, the closer you are to where you work, rather, the better. The shorter the commute the better for you, because then it'll lead to less stress. It'll also cost less, in all likelihood. Unless, of course, you have to take, a cab all the time. But if you choose an ideal location, it would be best for you, because it'll save you the trouble of having to sit around in traffic. That said, you should also know the ins and outs of your location, your area, wherever it is that you might be moving to. Because it might seem like it's a nice place for now, but then you get stuck in traffic and it might ruin your day or the experience altogether. And the idea is, if you move to a place, it's supposed to feel like home. And if it doesn't feel like home, just trying to get there, you might have a hard time. If you're gonna rent, you have to be really nice to your landlord, because if you're not nice to your landlord, they could kick you out. No, just kidding. It really depends on the terms of your contract, but the nicer you are to the landlord, the better. Especially since you'll be dealing with your landlord over the next maybe 6 months to a year. Your relationship really has to be good, and it should be amicable as much as possible. You don't have to be BFFs or anything like that. But being friends with your future landlord will give you a whole bunch of advantages, such as maybe a lower rate and a speedy response to any sort of trouble you might have at home. Aside from that, you could always ask for extras, or maybe you can negotiate some extras in there. What does it, like if you rent from your landlord, what does it come with really? If it's a condominium, does it come with the dues? The rent itself? Does it come with things like, utilities like internet or cable or maybe a phone line? Because, those things are pretty important, especially internet nowadays. Speaking of the internet, you might want to check us out on Facebook. That's facebook.com/1059 Like FM. You can also tweet us or send us a DM over at Instagram. That's at Like FM 1059. So going back, again, you should be nice to your landlord. You don't have to be, BFFs or anything like that. But again, be nice to your landlord. But in general, you know what? Just be nice to everyone. It's a more pleasant experience. You might also want to check out the neighborhood. Aside from knowing the ins and outs of the area, how to get there, how to get to other places like work or maybe the closest commercial center or something like that, you should also check out the neighborhood in itself, because there might be some hidden gems, some holes in the wall. When I say hole in the wall, I mean hidden gems, really. You might have a nice little restaurant. For a while, I was living in a neighborhood that had a deli, which was pretty cool. And it was pretty much a warehouse of that particular deli. So you had really nice cuts of meat, for example, that you could get for a little bit less just because it was more or less a warehouse. Really nice cheeses and whatnot, gourmet stuff. So that was pretty cool. And who knows, if you move into a new neighborhood, you might find yourself finding your favorite go-to restaurant, really. Coffee shops are also nice. Third wave coffee shops. All them fancy flat whites and whatnot. You should also check the property in itself if you're gonna rent, or if you're gonna, buy, or if you're gonna take over someone's lease or something like that. If you forget to investigate, wherever it is that you're renting or like buying, the house or the apartment, really, you might miss out on, some red flags, I suppose. Things you're supposed to look for are, signs of water damage from flood, for example. That might compromise the property in itself, especially if there's a lot of, wood. What else do you look for? The ceiling, for example. Water damage as well in the ceiling from rain, mostly. And the fixtures and themselves, you should give that a look, because sometimes the older the property is, the more, ailments there are, really. Such as termites. I hate termites. Or pests, like cockroaches and whatnot. So make sure you inspect the property properly. Whew, that was a mouthful. Also, it's very important for you to know what you can and cannot do. For example, in as much as you'd like to fulfill your Pinterest fantasy of having like a really nice flat or a really nice apartment, it might be problematic if it turns out you can't put up any shelves and you end up putting up shelves anyway. So you might damage your deposit. So more on this in a little bit. In the meantime, let's get back to the music. My name is Devon, and you're tuned in to Like FM. Like FM, you're tuned in to me. My name is Devon. I'm keeping you company all the way until 9 a.m. on your Sunday morning drive. Stay tuned for my partner, D, who will be on from 9 to 12, and the lovely Addie from 12 to 3. And she's going to be talking about fashion with Fashion Sense. All right, so before the break, we were talking about the things that you should consider when you are looking for a new place to live in, whether it's a condominium or a house or a rental, or maybe you're looking to invest. More often than not, though, when you're young, dumb, and broke, like me, you might end up renting first, and it does come with its perks, because you're not really tied down to that particular piece of property. Your responsibilities are limited to, whatever it is that you consume monthly, as opposed to really investing in a piece of property and buying it and, having it put under your name and paying for it, for a few years, especially if you take out a loan. But when you rent a piece of property, there are certain things that you can't really do, such as I was talking about before the break, you have to check and make sure that you can make improvements on that particular piece of property, on that rental. Because if not, then it might be a little, not really sad, but it might be a little bit more difficult to customize. And so this next segment is really for those who are looking to rent property. Here's 14 easy and low-risk decorating hacks for renters. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you can't really do what you want to do, like put up shelves or do anything to affect the structure in itself. So how do you go about personalizing your space or the space that you live in without actually poking holes through the walls and whatnot? So a good idea would be to use removable wallpaper, because you can find that online. You can also find that in different hardware stores. But coating the walls in wallpaper will make a huge difference. It takes a bit of elbow grease because it takes a while, especially if you're, DIYing or doing it yourself. But it does change the overall vibe of the space itself. After that, once you change, literally the wallpaper of your space, it'll be a little bit homier, especially since you're the one who's going to pick the wallpaper. You know what I mean? Aside from that, you can also try command hooks. Command hooks are the ones that have adhesive on them, like heavy-duty adhesives. These are for things like, frames that you'd like to hang, or maybe hooks for your clothes. But, you have to make sure that the hook itself can accommodate the weight. But if you're afraid of drilling holes and, you're not allowed to drill holes into your walls, then you might want to invest in packs of hanging strips. Usually they're, again, available at different hardware stores, and they come in different gauges depending on what you're going to hang. So it can go as low as 0.3 kilos to maybe 5 kilos. But of course, you have to make sure you install them properly. It's not just sticking it onto the wall and then you can hang something there already. You have to wait for it to set. You can also go with painting your walls. Alternatively, if you're not in the mood to spend an entire day sticking wallpaper onto your walls, you can always go with painting, because that could be a little bit more fun. The downside would be that your whole place is going to smell like paint for a bit. So maybe if you live in a space that's a little bit smaller and doesn't have good ventilation, you might consider wallpaper instead of paint. Also, your landlord might not like the idea of paint. You can also upgrade the lighting, and lighting makes a huge difference. From, fluorescent lighting, maybe to incandescent lighting. Maybe you should just consider using LED bulbs, because those are more cost efficient. But changing the light or the lighting of the space that you live in can make a difference, like worlds of difference, if that makes any sense. Because it can make you look good for your selfies. It can also set the overall mood of that space. Because if the lighting is too harsh, you might not feel comfortable, especially since you're going to be staying there and relaxing there and living there pretty much. All right, time on the clock is 7:26. That time check was brought to you by Patron. Patron knows you deserve only the best. We'll be back after more of these ads. Like FM, we have reached the end of the show. My name is Devon. Thank you very much for keeping me company and for letting me keep you company on this gorgeous Sunday. I've posted a DIY lampshade tutorial on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/1059likefm. You can also get in touch with us via Twitter and Instagram. That's at LikeFM1059. Again, my name is Devon. Keep it locked here on Like FM for my partner who's coming up next. Tune into D, who's going to board from 9 until noon. And after that, we have Addie with Fashion Sense from 12 until 3. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. Keep it locked here on Like FM. See you next week. Bye.
Slot will be permanent for the two of us, but we do have a show Mondays to Fridays that's at 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. So let me know if you have any suggestions for the name of a show boarding on 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. lunchtime every Sunday. Miss Devon has a name for the show. If she does, I am competitive. We need a name for the show on a Sunday morning. All right? You can send me your suggestions on social media. On Twitter and Instagram, you can DM us at LikeFM1059, and on Facebook, you can message us. Maybe I can post the status as well to get all the suggestions from you. That's facebook.com/1059likefm. Let's move on to more of the music. Later on the show, I do have some tips on how to help us you and me manage money. Yes, I'm talking to myself as well because we need help. I need help as well. Let's move on to more of the music. You're tuned into Mega Manila's Like FM 105.9. Like FM, welcome back to the show. My name is Dee. I'll be keeping you company all the way until 12 this afternoon. Earlier, I did mention that the show has no name yet, so I would need your suggestions. Share your thoughts. Be creative. Let me know. Creative, not crazy. I don't want to get in trouble with the name of the show. On my first board work, you can share your thoughts on Facebook. That's facebook.com/1059 Like FM. You can go ahead and like us on, or rather follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Like FM 1059. Earlier, I did promise that I'll be sharing with you some ways on how to help you save money. Now, for us to be able to do that, let's first talk about common money management mistakes that we make even on a daily basis. So number one, let's go for the first one. Not knowing where your money is going. So this is a problem I face. I'm pretty sure you face it as well. So the reason why billionaires or millionaires reach to that certain standing in their life right now is because it's simple. They live within their means. You know, even Donald Trump, with billions of dollars that he has to control spending his money. For example, if you have, or rather Tito Donald Trump has $12 billion at his disposal, he has to think about how many private islands he can purchase. Is he going to buy one or two or three? Because he has to manage his money. He has to think, is this island worth the money, worth the $12 billion? Or I should just buy one at the cost of $1 billion and save the rest. That's the reason why he's probably one of the most one of the richest people on the planet. If I say so myself. I'm nowhere near that. And I have to learn from him as well, and maybe you too. Overspending is a problem that we face. So the first thing that we should do to gain control over our finances is to create a spending plan. Having a spending plan will allow us to see where our money is going and when and where to cut our expenses. For example, you have 2,000 pesos in your wallet today. 2 days from now, it's gone. And then you try to think back, what happened to my 2,000 pesos? And then you forget that, I went to this place. I bought this at this place. Those are some of the things that we have to take note of. We have to manage. We have to plan ahead. So maybe you can set an allowance for yourself on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. So budget, for example, 2,000 for a week. You can get by on commute, on travel, on food as well. Maybe even pack your lunch. I pack my lunch or work every day. Saves me money. And I like my dad's cooking. I prefer his cooking over the cafeteria cooking in the office. I would prefer that as well. Saves me money. Saves me a lot of effort. I don't need to prepare a lot of things. I don't need to think when I go to the counter, what should I buy? Because I'm a very indecisive person, so it takes a while for me to think what to purchase. Later on the show, let's move to more of the tips on how to save your money. For now, let's get back to more of the music. Yes, I do love this song. Chris Brown. Earlier I did receive some messages that they do like the songs that we are playing, and someone waiting for Adia Moore to be on air. She'll be on at 12 later. You can keep us company all the way until then. She'll give you some of the tips on how to be fashionable and save money as well. On Fashion Sets later at 12, you're tuned into Like FM. The No Name Show, rather. Still don't have a name for it, so please help me out by suggesting what to name the show. You can do that on Facebook. That's facebook.com/LikeFM, or rather 1059 Like FM. And then on Twitter and Instagram, that's at Like FM 1059. Earlier, we were talking about common money management mistakes that we make. The first one we talked about was not knowing where your money is going. Move on to more of that. Number 2, we are talking about not having a plan for your money. Now, we often have no plan on how to use our money. Let's be clear on that. Let's not keep it secret. That's common knowledge, I guess, for most of us. For example, if you're planning to travel sometime soon, you should have it planned out ahead of time so you can book cheaper tickets if you're planning to go on a plane out of the country. And you need to save. With this, you'll be able to save more than enough money to spend and for you to create an itinerary. Now, having an itinerary lets you control where to go, what to eat, and at how much the food is. And then you can also plan what to buy as souvenirs on certain locations that you've planned out in your itinerary. Another goal might be to have an emergency fund. Now, this is very important. It's important for you to have an emergency fund. This is for you to use for unexpected expenses. Now, such as car repairs, medical emergencies. I always get this. I'm always in an accident for some reason. I don't know why, but if you happen to fall off somewhere, you fall off the stairs, you broke a vase, cuts you, stuff like that. And then sometimes you get bitten by a dog and you don't have an HMO, but you do have your emergency fund. You have access to that. So you don't have any worries. You still have money saved up. Your savings, by the way, is different from your emergency fund. So you have to have a separate bank account, maybe, or give it to your mom. What I do is I give it to my mom. She saves up for me. I just give her the money, deposit it to my bank account. Easy. So that I don't have any access to it, I'm forced to save. Now, it's easy for one unexpected incident to make your financial life spin out of control. That's why I'm telling you, you have to have a different savings account and a different emergency fund. Let's move on to number 3. So we've talked about not knowing where your money is going. We've also talked about not having a plan for your money. Let's move on to not determining wants versus needs. Now, this sounds pretty basic, but many of us live outside of our means. I'm guilty of that because we haven't thought about categorizing our expenses, determining what we really need versus what we really want. Now, following a good example of choosing between wants and needs is food. Food is a need. Like, for example, coffee is a want. Now, for some mornings, a latte sounds really nice. You'd like to go to your favorite coffee shop. I know you have one in mind already. You purchase a cafe latte, you purchase a macchiato, but sometimes you only need to brew coffee at home. Or you buy one of those 3-in-1 mixes. It's cheaper, free at most. If you live with your friends or your parents, they buy it for you. Just brew it for yourself. You don't need to spend 150 pesos for a cup of coffee. All right? Now, in this situation, you can skip the trip to your favorite coffee store, brew your own coffee, as I said earlier. Determining wants versus needs will help you avoid impulse purchases and overspending, like in shopping. Yes, D, like in shopping. If you see really nice shoes, think of saving money. Don't spend 2.5 on really nice Vans. Let's move on to more of this later on the show. We do have another one. It deals with a lot of your friends. So maybe some of your friends can tune in as well and help you out on fixing your finances. But for now, let's move on to a quick break. On deck, we do got a lot more songs. Keep it here on Like FM. Like FM, welcome back to the show. Go. That was Let Her Go. Welcome back to the show. Well, the no-name show as of yet. I'm thinking of collating all of your responses on... We do have some messages already as well. Again, you can send your suggestions on Facebook. That's facebook.com/1059 Like FM. You can tweet us at Like FM 1059 and DM us. I haven't posted anything yet on Instagram. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I should. That's at Like FM 1059. Give me your creative ideas on what to name this show. I don't know yet if this is a permanent thing, but as mentioned earlier, Devon and I will be partners Mondays to Fridays. That's at 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. So you can catch us girls, talk about... What are we going to talk about? We haven't planned out yet. Stay tuned for that. You can give us suggestions as well. Maybe something about what's relevant to you. What do you think we should talk about? You can message us. Always message us on Facebook. Again, that's 105 Like FM. Facebook.com/105 Like FM. Going back to our topic on common mistakes on money management. Let's go to the last part on our list. Succumbing to peer pressure. I'll hit this one. Peer pressure is a very powerful phenomenon. We need to understand it's okay for us to say no. Now, if your friends want to go out and eat, see a movie, or go on a trip, but you know you don't have the money for it, you don't have anything part in your savings, you don't have the budget for it, you don't need to give in to peer pressure. I don't. Well, I am sort of a couch potato and a homebody, so I'd rather go out for dinner with my friends, but if they ask me to randomly, oh, let's go to Tagaytay, let's go to this place, I would say no. I think it's sleep it off. That's me. How about you? Are you the type of person that rather to go out? Would you rather to go out and eat, go to a gig? If you're that kind of person, maybe you should have your money. Maybe you should have a budget planned out for that. Let's call that your entertainment budget. Now, this is where your financial goals are important. You need to concentrate on what you really want out of your life to help avoid overspending. Plus, if you make good financial choices, you could help your friends make better financial choices as well. So you can influence them, you can pressure them into saving money, making their entertainment budget, categorizing that. They can also categorize their emergency budget or their emergency fund, and then have a separate savings account. So that's 3. Your savings, your actual savings, your emergency fund, and your entertainment fund. Those 3, maybe you can sort those out. You don't really need to open 3 different bank accounts, but you can manage it by keeping a list of your expenses, a list of how much money from your salary or from your allowance can go on this particular item or in this particular category. So if you want to save 500 a month for entertainment budget, you can do so. If you want to save up 1,000 a month for emergency fund, you can do so as well. And then you can save up 2,000 for your savings. So that's 5,535. My math is correct. Early morning. I'm so not good at math, but I managed that. Let's move on to more of the music. This one's a personal favorite of mine. Let me know if you have any particular song that you'd like to hear, although I'm not sure if we have it yet on the playlist. We're still building up the playlist. Bear with us. This is my first time boarding in a long time. Not sure if I'm doing this correctly though, but I'm pretty sure I'm not killing anybody as of the moment with the music that I'm playing. I hope you like this one. Keep it locked on Like FM. Like FM, welcome back to the show. We are at the last stretch of the second hour of the No Name Show. Earlier, I did get a response on what to name the show. She said it should be named The Weekend Show. What do you guys think? Should it be named The Weekend Show? Well, if we are going to name it The Weekend Show, that means even if we move to a different time slot, it's still The Weekend Show. Correct? Still The Weekend Show. But let me know if you have other ideas on what to name the show. Help me out. I'm not really good at what to name the show. Even Devon and I we struggled on how to name or what to name our show for 8 p.m. to 12 midnight, Mondays to Fridays. But tune in for that tomorrow at 8 p.m. Let's get back to more of the music. On deck, we do got a lot more in store for you. Keep it locked here on Like FM.
Mega Manila's hot AC station, Like FM.
Welcome to the show. This is the D&D Show with D and Devon.
What's up?
This is our first board work, and we are happy to be with you. We are keeping you company all the way until 12 midnight. Today is a Monday, one of the, how should you say it?
Most stressful days in
I know, I feel the stress.
Do you? Like, I feel like I had such a short weekend, but at the same time, it's all right. I got through the day, which is great. Normally, Mondays are the hardest days to get over, get through, in the week.
Or over that hump. Monday is about to end, and we are keeping you company with all the great hits for Like FM. We'll be with you all the way until 12. Today, we are talking about a lot of things. And the first one that we'll be sharing with you is how to help you de-stress on a stressful Monday. And speaking of which, we are going to share with you as early as now our running topic.
Yes, that is right. So, that said, considering Monday is the most stressful day of the week, we figured it would be best if we helped everyone out. Okay, and, shared our own little tips and tricks to get over stress throughout the week. So kindly finish this sentence on our post on social media, particularly on Facebook. I de-stress by blank. Okay, again, let us know on the post that we're about to post on Facebook. That's facebook.com.
Oh, we haven't posted?
No, we have not. Facebook.com/1059LikeFM.
Go ahead and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at LikeFM1059. Let's move on to more of the hits here on Like FM.
Like FM, you're listening to the D&D Show with me, Devon and D.
not good.
Maybe set a limit for yourself. Maybe one year.
Don't finish the whole bottle.
Eat.
If you need to sleep,
Girl, are you going to something? Because that's like one bottle. I don't see. Yes. Oh, aside from that, another great way to de-stress is to really work out. As in going to the gym, find a way to channel all that negativity. Yes, that negative energy.
whatever.
Yes. So whether it be wall climbing or dancing.
Used to.
He's allowed now. That's fine.
But the best thing for you to do is go to the gym after work. Maybe if you can register nearby. After your work at 6 or 7, you can go to a mall or a nearby. There are a lot of places that have a lot of, who have recently popped out a lot of gyms. Like for example, Gold's Gym. I do love going there, especially their spacious. Their area is so spacious. You can run around. If you want to do cardio, you can just jog around the area. You can play basketball. Circuit training. I do love their cardio sessions. They have that every hour. They do that for 20 to 30 minutes. They do that, and then after that, you can go to any type of equipment you want to do. If you want to play basketball, go ahead. If you want to continue running, go ahead. I take one near Sheridan.
Really?
I used to go. I used to work there.
Does it open? Not really open, but it feels more like a warehouse.
It does.
Yeah.
It's extremely spacious. You won't feel cramped like other gyms when there are so many people. It's so packed. I can't really work out when there are so many people, especially in really small branches. But the thing is, Gold's is really big.
It is. I think most of their branches are pretty massive, and it is conducive for working out. However, I do not know how to work out, so I personally like to de-stress by sleeping. How about you? How do you get up sleep?
Best cure for anything.
Everything. Can sleep forever. I would be an
Olympic sleeper. If there's a medal for that, Devon's gonna get it for sure. This is a pretty long list. We'll go over them more as we go through the show. But for now, let's move on to more of the music. You're tuned in to Like FM.
Mega Manila's hot AC station, Like FM. Welcome back to the show. This is the D&D Show, the show for the young, dumb, and broke. My name is Dee.
And my name is Devon, and we're taking care of you until midnight tonight. It is our third hour.
Yes, third hour.
And
Yes.
so far, we have been talking about the different ways that people de-stress. So check out our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/1059 Like FM, and complete the thought, I de-stress by blank.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well at Like FM 1059. Earlier, we are discussing about easy ways to hustle.
Yes.
Muscle hustle?
Yes.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah, complete with the dance and the shoulders and whatnot. Yeah, but the thing is, one of the biggest sources of stress, again, is not having any money, or just, thinking of money and what to spend on, I guess.
Wow, that's
in
a
your
good
case.
problem. I have so much money. Where should I spend it on?
I think
How
it's time for me to buy a
planes should I
mansion.
buy? That is a good problem.
It's a great problem, but not for everyone, unfortunately. Some people, still have their regular 9-to-5s or just their regular jobs and still want to make more. Maybe so
Sometimes
they can.
it's not enough.
Yes, it's not enough. Sometimes you might want to go on vacation. You might want to buy yourself something nice. So you might also have to find another side hustle so that you have another source of income. So earlier on, we said that you could profit off of whatever
Writing.
skills you might have, such as writing. Okay. And earlier also, Dee mentioned that you should probably schedule your retail therapy sessions so that you can prepare for it. But a great way of making money, I guess, on the side is to sell some of your stuff. Whatever stuff you might have lying around, from electronics, maybe you're one of those ukay lords who likes to, scavenge through all of those piles and racks of clothing.
If you are the type of person who always buy clothes from big name brands and rarely wear them, like for example, if you are a seasonal shopper, you'd buy a set of clothes only for the season because they're in this season, and then the next season you won't wear them because they're not the latest line. You'd buy a new one. You can sell them.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you've only worn them for like 3-4 times. You can make money off of them and even make room for your dresser for more clothes.
That is true. So that later on you can buy more clothes.
Yeah, that is the dream. That is the goal.
Yep. That is the goal eventually. Or maybe you can, buy yourself a nice big house with lots and lots and lots of closet space.
Lots and lots of shoes.
Hopefully. That is the dream. That is why we two broke,
2 jobs.
young, dumb and broke millennial 20-somethings have 2 jobs.
We understand you if you are planning on doing your side hustle, because what we're doing now is also part of a side hustle. Devon and I actually we have a full-time job.
Yes, we both do. Because
Random things.
Yes, we have
9 to 6 random things.
Yes, we have children to support. And by children, I mean I have a cat.
I have a dog.
Yes.
I don't know how this show worked out with the 2 of us, her being a cat lover and me being a dog lover.
But it works. So much so that we are on all the way until midnight tonight. Again, it's called the D&D Show, the show for the young, dumb, and broke 20-somethings. And tonight, we want to know how you guys de-stress. So comment on our page on Facebook and complete the thought. It's I de-stress by blank. We have someone in here, this dude called Vicks Inhaler. He says, I de-stress by waiting outside my girlfriend's office with a bottle of wine, a heart-shaped box of chocolates, BFF fries, and a 20-piece box of nuggets so I can congratulate her on her new job. So whoever this Vicks Inhaler...
Yeah. You are
the bomb.
The bomb.
It sounds like...
So it sets the standard, I guess. Pressure on all men now.
This guy sounds really
Be Vicks
sweet.
Inhaler.
Yes. Hashtag be like Vicks Inhaler.
All right. Go on and reply to our topic. Again, it's I de-stress by blank. That's on our Facebook, facebook.com/1059 Like FM. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Like FM 1059. Moving on to more of the music, we are Like FM.
Like FM, you're listening to the D&D Show with me, Devon.
And D.
Yep, this is the show for the young, dumb, and broke. And tonight, we are talking about how you de-stress. Please
Early
complete the
on.
sentence. Yes. I de-stress
Which one of us? Which one of us?
by blank.
Again, that's I de-stress by blank on Facebook at facebook.com/1059 Like FM. We are still trying to get used to how we talk with each other. How we
Talk to each other. Yes.
I can't see Devon.
I
So
can't.
it's so hard to know if... Are you talking about?
I don't know. But a great way to de-stress is to prepare to begin with. Okay? Much like how D here, my partner, did our whole show. If you guys were tuned in earlier on today, we mentioned that one of the best ways to de-stress as far as money concerns are concerned is to keep track of your expenses with spreadsheets and applications, much like how Dee did our show today on Google Documents.
Yes,
Look at
Google is the
that.
best friend of everybody.
There are a lot of productivity tools. You guys should try out Google Docs.
I use Google Docs. I use the spreadsheet on Google to manage my expenses before. The important thing is for you to update it regularly. Do not stop. Do not get lazy, because whatever app you use, whatever bank account, how many bank accounts you have, if you are not diligent on updating your money, your budget, your life, then it's gonna go down the drain. It's a waste.
Yes, it can be. I have like 5 bank accounts with $50 in them each. And it's hard for me to keep track of them on a spreadsheet, but it is a great idea to manage your expenses. Another great way for you to manage your expenses and to save money is for you to maybe not handle as much cash. Doing more cashless transactions. For example, if you have a debit card, which is basically money that you already have that you can spend, it is, personally, I find it very comfortable and very convenient as opposed to holding on to cash, which I may or may not lose while I am walking.
Yes, that is true. There are a lot of people who are now going for cashless payments. Some of them are struggling because they know they have money. They don't see it that they're using it because they're using their card. Some people are more comfortable than using cash so that they can count the bills. But the problem is that their problem specifically, if you're one of them, I'm pretty sure you can relate to this. Once you have money in your wallet, you're okay with spending it.
That is right. That's not very responsible, and it's a great way for you to stay young, dumb, and broke.
Like us.
Like us, which we are trying to stop now by working this awesome job on the radio.
We need, yay!
we really do need that sound bite. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, or we can't get that. We'll record that.
Yeah, we should do that tomorrow. All right. The time is 10:31. You are still tuned in to the D&D Show with Dee and Devon, taking care of you all the way until midnight tonight. So let us know if you guys are tuned in. That's facebook.com/1059LikeFM, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's @LikeFM1059. Mega Manila's hot AC station, Like FM. You're listening to the D&D Show. My name is Devon.
And my name is Dee.
And tonight we have been talking about how you de-stress. And we have posted a topic on Facebook. That's facebook.com/1059LikeFM. I de-stress by blank. And on to our responses. We have a really interesting response. I believe this is from one of our co-DJs. It says...
This is Jimmy Jam.
I believe it is Jimmy Jam. I de-stress by Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Survival Mode.
Those are very good games.
It sounds like it's a good way to de-stress. Like, I'm not promoting violence or anything, but video games can be
Yes, I play these games, so I love them, and it distresses me whenever I kill my enemy.
Yeah,
in the game.
I hope so.
Just to be in the game.
I hope you get some relief from it, because that's. Are you sure you're okay, Dee?
I'm okay. We're at the last stretch of the hour, so we'd like to wrap up the show. Invite you, of course, to tomorrow's show. We are on again at 8 p.m. to 12 midnight. It's going to be the D&D Show with Devon and Dee, the awesome people. Show for the young, dumb, and broke. Catch us tomorrow. We've got a lot more in store for you. If you have any suggestions on... We haven't really planned on what to post on social media.
So if
we're very shy, we don't want to post our faces there.
That's why we had a couple of stand-ins post
on
for
our
us.
Instagram.
Yeah. But if you have any suggestions, please let us know what you'd like for us to talk about tomorrow night. That is at facebook.com/1059LikeFM, or you could also let us know via Twitter and Instagram. That's at LikeFM1059.
Catch us tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Dee
and Devon
on the D&D Show here at Like FM.
Bye.